been a while. It's been months. Gosh, um, life has been a bit wild, so I haven't had that much time to um, upload anything. I don't even know if anyone's listening this, um, but I've certainly haven't stopped reflecting on life because life has given me so many opportunities to do so with the waves it has created around me, or within me, should I say. Anyway, I have a hot topic today. So I just want to start by saying, a friendly reminder. This is a peaceful place, so if you don't agree with my ideas, well, you don't have to agree with my ideas, but if you don't like my ideas or my ideas upset you, please just try to find avenues which are more suitable for the way you see life. My ideas are just my reflections, and my own subjective interpretation of reality, so don't take anything personal, of course. um, I'm gonna start by I'm gonna start with a quote, as I usually do. It's written by someone called Rilke. I've mentioned him before. It's one of my absolute favorites. He's an amazing human being who lived in the 19th century in Austria. And he was super, super wise, and I just appreciate him so much, and I just feel so connected to his writings and to his feelings because I resonate with his ideas. So it goes like this. The point of marriage is not to create a quick commonality by tearing down all boundaries. On the contrary, a good marriage is one in which each partner appoints the other to be the guardian of his solitude, and thus they show each other the greatest possible trust. A merging of two people is an impossibility, and where it seems to exist, it is a hemming in, a mutual consent that robs one party or both parties of their fullest freedom and development. But once the realization is accepted that even between the closest people infinite distances exist, a marvelous living side by side can grow up for them if they succeed in loving the expanse between them, which gives them the possibility of always seeing each other as a whole and before an immense sky. Isn't that amazing? I really encourage you, if you resonate with any of his words or with my words, maybe it's worth googling Rainer Maria Rilke, and you might find that you're gonna resonate with some of his other ideas. It continuously blows my mind that this person lived in the 1800s. It's just amazing that he had all of these ideas. So anyway, subject of today is, why are you getting married? Why am I getting married? Why are we getting married? My phone is obviously sending me notifications exactly when I'm recording these things, so apologize for that. So I reflected on this for a while, and these are the thoughts that, some of the thoughts that came out of that reflection. And I've formed these thoughts based on my human experience and based on observing other people around me. So I guess for anyone who's listening this and is thinking it has a burning desire to get married, if I could say anything to you, just just a one sentence on this subject, it would be the following: I wish you marry from a place of freedom and into a place of freedom. And what I mean by that is, I wish you don't go into marrying someone just because you lack things. So in an attempt to obtain those things, whether those things are material or emotional, and emotional is huge, isn't it? I guess a lot of us feel like, oh, I need someone to see me, I need someone to validate me, I need someone to make me feel this way, and then the other way, and then the other way. But if we go into a relationship or even a marriage from this mentality, basically we're not, the other one is just, it seems like the other one is just a means to an end. So, we're there as long as they're providing us with those stuff, and the moment they're not, then it might be that we're not going to be there anymore. And and that I guess does a disservice to everyone, and but is starting with ourselves. And why does that do a disservice to ourselves? Because first of all, when you go into the world because you need things from the world, I feel like you're not going to have a clarity of mind and of your feelings into exactly what it is that authentically suits you, because you're so focused on fulfilling that lack that you're going to ignore other things that are actually maybe more important for you, or yeah. So and also, so that's what I mean by marry from a place of freedom. So from a place of freedom, meaning, I'm aware that it's only me that can work to fulfill all of my needs, and it's only me that can make myself happy, and it's only me that is gonna save me. If there's such thing as a salvation, is not someone else. And I'm okay with being just with me. But then then I meet someone and they're nice, and this is who I want to have hold my hand through the turmoil and the joys of my life. But they're just almost like they're just a passenger, uh, who might accompany me for the rest of my life, who might accompany me for a brief duration of my life. But they're not, they're not there to be my mother or my father, or to be everything and anything for me, to be my best friend, to be my uh, my personal coach, my life coach, my whatever, my financial provider. um so that's what I mean, going into it from a place of freedom, as in you freed yourself from from the idea of needing anyone else to be happy and to feel fulfilled. um and I know it's maybe it's a difficult one to accept, especially when you come from difficult backgrounds and you haven't felt uh, appreciation and love. And yes, we do heal in relationships, but ultimately, I mean, if someone is kind to you, that definitely is gonna help. But ultimately, you will only truly heal when you start giving yourself the same kindness. um Someone else from the outside can only just model that for you. But if you're not willing to give that to yourself, no one can. You can be in a relationship with the best person on the planet, but you're still not going to be happy. um, So, and the second part of that is marry into a place of freedom. By that I mean marry someone who's not gonna actually marry you because they need you, but who's gonna marry you because they just want to share their lives with you, as in someone who will have the mentality that, even if you're not here, I will miss you, and I will, life will not be as colorful maybe because you're so special for me, but I'll still be fine, I'll still be happy, I'll still enjoy my life. So into a place of freedom is marrying someone who allows your respects you and allows your space to be yourself without managing your space. So basically, like, I mean, I see all of these things on social media where, like, people need to ask for permission to go out with their friends, or yeah. And I just, to me, that just it's a bit, I feel like, it's unfair that we would put ourselves in that position where I feel like first of all, there's a miscommunication there. I guess before anything else, it's a miscommunication there. Like, when we went into that relationship, probably we didn't have the self awareness to address these things in advance. So, as in, I'm someone who likes to go out with my friends regularly, or I have this thing. I have this events in my life that are regular, that I need to be able to attend regularly in order to feel a satisfaction and a quality of life. Are you happy with that? I mean, is that something that collides with your wants and needs? And yes, I'm using needs because we all have needs, but I guess it's about going into the relationship, accepting with awareness, and with the idea that the other one is not entitled, the other one um is not, it doesn't have a duty to fulfill our needs. All of us, all human beings, have needs, because that's the human condition. Because we're limited, we have we're not invincible. We would always have certain needs, but and this need, this needs we can provide to ourselves, to certain to we can offer ourselves these needs. But in a relationships there, or in cohabitating with another human being, we're gonna have to align in what works for each of us. So that's what I mean by needs, by healthy needs, as in, I want my house to be tidy. Are you a messy person? If you are, how important is that for you to be able to be messy? Because if it's very important for you to be messy, and if it's very important for me to be tidy, then those two worlds are clearly incompatible. So we want to be able to address these things in advance, to have a certain degree of self-awareness. So we can make an informed choice. And I know it doesn't work like that, as in, when you like someone, you fall in love with someone, it just, the attraction blurs everything. But I think if we try to maybe temper ourselves a little bit until we figure these things out and not jump into rushed decisions, then I think we'd be way more happier for having done so. And so, coming back to this idea that you have to ask for permission to go out, that just makes me really sad. I mean, I just think that, wow, I mean, I didn't come on this world to have to ask permission to go out, or that so that someone believes that they're entitled to to have a say over what I do or I don't do with my life. If that's what we decided together, if that's what I want, I go into to a relationship, you know, telling you that that's what I want. I want you to control me, and I want to control you. That's fine, as long as everything is consensual. That's excellent, and there's no problem, But I just think a lot of times just people basically just wake up in the middle of the relationship and realize that, oh my God, you know, I have to ask for permission to do this, I have to ask for permission to do that, or if I do this, if I'm being myself, or if I'm trying to meet my own needs, the other person's gonna be, upset, throwing a tantrum. They're gonna state that I don't love them, and that's toxic. That's not freedom, and that's not love. Anything that is not freedom is not love, in my opinion. It's just something else. Is people trying to fulfill their needs, and it's fine. We all do it. It's we're flawed, limited beings, but it's good to realize that that's what we do, and so yeah, I really wish if you are to marry, you marry into you marry from a place of freedom and into a place of freedom, and I wish that person um, is someone who inspires you to be someone better, and someone who is happy on their own, but is happier because you're around. I guess that's the main point. And also, I don't understand how, well, I think I do, but I'm just saying I don't understand. I don't understand how some people, after they've lived they've shared lives with each other, they can trash each other, and they can go so angrily against each other, and just take revenge on each other. I think that makes me wonder, if you know was that real love, or was it was it just a needs met or unmet type of relationship. And I think I have to be honest, I'm inclined to think uh, is the latter option, because I think when you go from a place of freedom into a relationship, and into a place of freedom, meaning both of you are have this sort of views, I think even if whatever happens, even if that person, let's say, they cheat on you, which is probably the most horrible thing that can happen into a relationship, and you find out, and it's heartbreaking, and it's sad, it's whatever, you feel all kinds of feelings. You should be able to, if it truly was from a place of freedom, you should be able to um, not take revenge on that person, or not trash them, or just still be their friend, in a way, as in be their friend, not after that event, but I mean whilst navigating the emotional implications of that event, as in, you know why did if they want to navigate that with you, they might not want to talk about it, or they might, I don't know, it might just finish instantly, or it's a personal decision for sure. But I mean, you can, the fact that someone has cheated on you does not transform them into a monster immediately. If you were truly friends to begin with, if they were just someone who were there because they were meant to make you feel beautiful, and the most beautiful, or the most handsome, or to make you feel like there's no one else like you on this planet, then yeah, obviously you're gonna feel like, oh my God, yeah, basically you'll fall from a very high pedestal that you yourself has yeah, you've put yourself there, and you've allowed yourself to believe those things, which which they're they're self deceiving. I mean no matter how beautiful a person is, You cannot possibly believe that you're the most beautiful person on the planet, or the most handsome or attractive person on the planet, or that even if you are, even if, let's say, for, there would be objective measures to say, yes, officially you've gained the title of the most attractive person on the planet. Even if you had that title, that does not mean that your partner will be only attracted to you, and they'll have the highest level of attraction throughout their lives towards you, only towards you. So then, it's basically, we're deceiving ourselves when we believe that, oh, how could you be attracted to someone else, and then in certain situations people get cheated because their partners were attracted to someone else, and they I guess they were not able to navigate that, or they that's how they wanted to navigate that, actually. So, but if it's not, so that's basically not a place of freedom. You're not in a relationship from a place of freedom if your need is to be constantly, for your partner to make you constantly feel like the most the most precious being on the planet, and the most irreplaceable. So so when they cheat on you, it's the world is going to collapse, isn't it? And what's going to collapse is the pedestal, that you've put yourself on, or that you've allowed the other person. The other person could not have put you on a pedestal if you had not allowed yourself to be put there. So, and it's painful, and I've had my own journey with different sorts of situations and things. But I guess if you were in a relationship from a place of more freedom, I think then you'd be able to, as heartbreaking as it might be to have to go through that type of situation, I think you'd be able to still navigate it as that person's friend, as your partner's friend, as in, why did they feel, why did they do it, things that they want to share about it. If you want to know, you might not want to know, you might, people want different things. But yeah, I think it's, when you are in a relationship from a place of freedom and into a place of freedom, things feel differently. Even if that person, no matter what that person does, you are in a position where you can still be honoring and honoring their existence. And it might be that you have to say goodbye to them because your wishes are not aligned, or your wishes are not aligned with their wishes, but you can still do it from as I said, from an honoring position, and from a friendly position, and gratefulness position. They might, it might not be as tragic as they've cheated on you. It might be that just basically they like, for instance, they want to become a monk. It might just be that. So after marriage or being with someone 20 years, they say, I feel like this is my calling. I'm going to give up everything, and I'm going to go in the mountains, and I'm never going to see you again, and I'm going to become a monk. That's an actual option. And so what are you going to do about it? If your whole identity was, if your whole identity and your whole, your existence was dependent on them, then your world is gonna crash again, isn't it? It's gonna be very difficult for you to accept that. But if you had a sort of autonomy, emotional and logistical, like financial or whatever, then you're gonna be able to, as painful as it would be, because it's painful to say goodbye to people that we love, you're gonna be able to let them go, and happily let them go, because when you love someone, you want what they want for themselves, isn't it? You don't want what you want for themselves. I mean, as in, when they want, the person tells you, I'm happiest when I'm doing this. So if you truly love someone, you're gonna want what they feel brings them the most happiness. When it's okay, some people don't, except obviously scenarios where people want to harm themselves, then obviously, and feel like that's what they need to do, obviously you're not gonna want that for them. But you understand what I'm saying there. So yeah, freedom is gold, I'd say. I guess other questions would be in terms of, so why are you getting married? Coming back to the main question. So what are you trying to achieve with this, with getting married? Are you looking for eternal love, eternal salvation, eternal peace, eternal adoration, eternal excitement? Because if you are, then you're just, you're setting yourself up for failure. Those things don't exist. Nothing is eternal. And certainly human emotions are not eternal. You're not going to feel loving 100% of the time towards that person, and they're not going to feel loving 100% of the time towards you. And they're not going to be everything you ever wanted, and you're not going to be everything they ever wanted. So let's start with that. And you are not everything you ever wanted for yourself, towards yourself. So how can another human being be that for you? Is it fair to unload those expectations on someone else when we're not able to even provide that for ourselves? I don't think it's fair, isn't it? And it's just setting us up for failure. If we have those sort of expectations, we're gonna be disappointed, and the world will look like it's a horrible place. But it's not. It really isn't. We just have fantasies that have nothing to do with reality, and we make decisions based on those fantasies that come from movies or stories, and the movies and stories are fantasies as well, of people who have lived before and who have had those sort of unmet needs. I kept reflecting on, why is it that we wish eternal love? What is it about eternal love that is so appealing and addictive to humans? And I think I hate to say it, but I think it has to do with our connection with God. I think because it is my belief that we are God, children of God, or made from God, or source, or however you want to call it. And when we came into a world of incarnations, we basically experienced this separation from source. It is our eternal fantasy to be forever united with this eternal love. But I think that's God. That's not we were projecting that onto human beings, but that's not. I think the source of that is actually God. Is the fact that we actually long to be home again, which is it's gonna sound very cheesy, but I think that's what we long to be, in the arms of God. And we try to find that in human beings, but no wonder we're not finding that, because that's not what we're actually looking for, isn't it? Humans are just humans, and and it's part of the design to be flawed. If we wouldn't be flawed, we wouldn't be humans. And I realized one day, I think I mentioned this before, but I realized the thing about pedestals is that actually they're prisons, if you think about it. So a pedestal, think about the surface area of a pedestal. And so the surface area of a pedestal is very small, isn't it? I mean, it can be large, but still, because it's a pedestal, it's smaller than the surrounding ground around it, isn't it? So then when you put someone in a pedestal, you're putting them in a prison. And for me, that was a big realization. Or when someone tries to do that to you, or when you're they can try, but if you allow them to do it, that's what you're allowing. You're allowing them to put you in a prison, because the moment the moment you allow yourself to be idealized, you reject any freedom of being in any other way than the way that fits on that pedestal. And we're infinite beings, infinitely complex and intricate, aren't we? We are not possibly just one, a little square, one by one. We're just a million trillion squares, and amazing patterns. So, but when we're allowing someone to put us on a pedestal, we're allowing them to reduce us. It's one of those. It's like a mirage, isn't it? Just it's appealing and alluring, but it's actually it's a golden cage in disguise. It doesn't bring us anything, and it's robbing us of everything. Basically, it's bringing us temporary pleasure, but that's based on an illusion, because uh, because no one is absolute. So yeah, anyway, I feel like I've gone sideways, so let me come back to marriage. So I have some notes here. Let me see what else I got. Yeah, so once again, being with another human being, it shouldn't feel like a prison. If it does, then it means that it exists from a place of fear. Um, so I'm just gonna, I guess, read some of the stuff that I wrote. So oftentimes the person next to us is the most mistreated person in our lives. If they choose to share their lives with us for however long, that should be a sacred thing. We should look at them, speak to them with the most respect ever. But instead, what do? When we marry someone, what we do is like, oh yeah, wow, it's a free pass to everything. So we're just literally unloading on them, like it as if they're there to for us to, uh, you know, for them to just be like a dumping ground for all of our, unprocessed or whatever, all of our toxicity. And it's heartbreaking that that's what we do without wanting to. We don't want to, isn't it? We never, no one wants to consciously, but we end up doing it anyway. And whereas that the fact that that person has chosen to spend their lives with you, it's a sacred thing. It's such a precious thing, that someone has has wanted to do, and they should be the most specially treated person in our lives. And also, like I just, for me, it's just I just don't believe in this thing of, oh, I'll be with you forever. How can someone actually say these things to another human being? How can you cannot say those things to even to yourself, if you're being very honest, because you could have madly loved something, had this hobby when you were 20 years old, and have thought that, this is what I'm always gonna do, I'm always gonna love this, and then at one point you just wake up one day and then you're done with it without necessarily having an explanation for it. So if that happens with yourself, um, how can it not happen with another human being? So I guess for me, the vow thing is, it's a, we'll be together forever until death does do us part. It's a fake promise. It's a promise based, not based in reality. I think it would be more I'd be more comfortable with the idea of people saying that I'll be with you. I want to be with you until, right now I want to be with you until death do us part, but I might not be with you actually that long. I think that's more realistic. And I know it kills the magic, but but it, it's more based in reality, and then you go into it with the more, with the sense of realism, and maybe with a even with a sense of respect, and more respect and more reverence for that person, and with, awareness that if you don't um, treat them like they're special, if you don't feel they're special, they might not be there one day. And because they don't have to really, it's not like, it shouldn't be like a prison sentence, getting married to someone. So that's why, actually, for me, it really doesn't make sense to actually do the like, what is it to get married? What is it? What does it actually achieve? Because even if you get married, legally, and you have 10 children, if you're not going to love someone, if you don't love the person anymore, you cannot stand them, or you have a horrible life together, you're still gonna break up. Well, unfortunately, some people, even in those cases, don't, and it's tragic. But but I just don't see why. I mean, I think it's sweet. It's cute that people want to make each other promises that, yes, I want to spend my whole life with you, and they give each other rings and whatever certificates, and that's fine. It's good, but I think I'd be more comfortable if they phrased it like that, that, as I've mentioned earlier, not that it's forever, for sure it's forever, because it's not, it really isn't. That is just a lie. It's literally a lie, because no one can promise you forever, because forever was not given to us to promise. We do not have the capacity to promise forever as human beings. So that, yeah. What else? And let me break for a second so I can gather my thoughts. Oh yeah, I couldn't end this topic without mentioning, and of course it's a huge topic, so but I'm gonna try to keep it, to do like an overview. um, I couldn't end this topic without addressing the topic of people in relationships, feeling attracted to other people, and so, gosh, why is this a taboo thing? Or is it just me that it's a taboo thing? Maybe it's maybe my perception is distorted and is not a taboo thing. But if it's not a taboo, then I'm happy. I'd be happy to hear. But it seems to me like it is a taboo. I think we need to just remind ourselves that when we enter a relationship, whether it's a marriage or whatever form of agreement we have, we don't become lobotomized, as in we don't lose half of our brains, right? So that we become, all of a sudden we become someone else. We know we only crave pizza for the rest of our lives. It's completely normal to feel attracted to other people whilst you're in a relationship. That doesn't mean you have to do anything with that attraction, but you cannot control the fact that you feel attraction to someone, isn't it? I mean, it's weird to that if someone tells you that you shouldn't be attracted to other people, that they're, unfortunately, they're not necessarily in a very good place in their lives. They really, really, would benefit from some introspection and reflection, and a bit of emotional growth, to realize that just something that's not real. We don't just want pizza. Even if pizza is our favorite food, we sometimes want some chocolate or whatever. But obviously, in a relationship, you're not going to do that if that's not the agreement of your relationship. So some people are open relationships and whatnot, all sorts of agreements, but it's not, there's nothing shameful or abnormal about having, feeling attracted to other people. You just don't have to do anything with it. You can just accept it and move on. That's it. Maybe just understand why I think just transform it into something positive, like use that attraction to bring it into your relationship, or um, use that attraction to understand more about yourself, or both, or but you know and it's like, you know, people like saying to each other, oh, you looked at that person, uh, why did you look at that person? Well, because they were, you know, they were attractive. But it's not like, you know, I mean, what are you supposed to walk on the street and just cover your eyes? Is that a thing that humans are supposed to do just for the sake of being in a relationship? I mean, it's just some people can be quite insecure, isn't it? It's about insecurity. And I guess if there's someone listening and they're feeling insecure, um, I think I'd say to you that um, until you appreciate yourself, and you love yourself, you learn to love yourself, and you learn to fall in love with yourself, no one will fill that gap inside of you. No one will fulfill you, and you're not going to be able to be happy for you know, lengths of time. And all it's going to happen, it's likely that without you wanting that, end up you're just going to end up in situations where you never intended to end up. So you're going to end up in with people who are going to feel, I don't know, it's gonna get messy. So I'd suggest, if you feel insecure, really maybe just try to get some therapy, and it all starts and ends with you. That's what I say. And I wish you, you know, healing and courage and self-appreciation. And someone doesn't, and I want to say, if someone's feeling insecure and they're listening to this and they're like, only you can give yourself everything. The other people are just there to hold your hand. That's all I'm trying to say. And it might be hard for you to imagine that you can feel fulfilled only through yourself, but it is possible. So yeah. And what else is there? Is there anything else that I wanted to say? Yeah, I think I'm pretty well. I don't know. Probably there are a million things to say, but if you've listened so far, I wish you all the best and happy relationships and self awareness, and I guess my main message here is it's all you. It's your responsibility. It's up to you. It's within your power to 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 make the most beautiful life for yourself, the most fulfilling life for yourself, without another human being. And if you know, it's amazing, and it's great, and you know, to share life with another human being. But when it's the most amazing when it comes from a place of freedom, and into a place of freedom, the other person does not belong to us, and we don't belong to them. We just accompany each other. We don't own people. You know, we're not entitled to people in any possible way, in any way, right? And they're not entitled to us in any way. So I wish all of us more maturity and wisdom and kindness to each other. And yeah, kind of dream on, guys. It's tough out here in the world, isn't it? I'll talk to you at some point down the line, maybe. You know, life is weird. Okay, take care. Bye bye.